Hey, yo, the man said if it's not Monday and it's not Wednesday, then.
It must be Tuesday.
And you know what it is. We in the building down in Sports Talk, in your face and in your eye. That's Browski over there, just left-handed, at RM Desk on Twitter, which is this right now. I hope y'all celebrating. It is Daylight Day, right? March the 3rd, 3 is the magic number. You already know. Salute, thank you, Dave, and all that. No, I was like, yo, see, this is what Browski and the kind of like the thing comes in here. I was on some potholes in my lawn. Me, myself, and I. 3 is the magic number. Life, that's a dope De La record. It's called Life, Living in the Full-Time Era. De La Soul is one of the, it is to me. In my island, you got De La Soul, you got Brand Nubian, you got the Cold Crush Brothers. Everybody else, all right, you cool, but De La. I mean, I've been rocking with De La from the beginning, but I just wanted to acknowledge De La Day. Browski's in the building. She's already ready for baseball. Baseball's ready for Browski. We're going to talk some baseball. We're going to get some basketball in the mix. Got to talk about the unrivaled Browski. Please don't forget to talk about that. And basically, everything's everything. The weather's trying to warm up. It's trying to, right? And hopefully that it'll be nice. Heard it's supposed to be like 70s next.
Yeah.
It'll be crazy out here. But anyway, we are in the building to give y'all some sports commentary, some sports talk, and some vibes till about 9 o'clock. We got Browski in the house. He's on a mission. High ceilings. What's good with you?
Not much chilling, like you said, baseball, man, watching some of these expedition games with the WBC, a couple
World
spring
Baseball
training
Classic now.
games, catching up on some baseball news, baseball nonsense. And
Right. Browski crazy.
yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense. And also, we're about to get busy with NFL free agency is about to pop up, and that's going to be wild. We already hearing about names getting released, soon, and the
Getting
league gonna
traded.
look a lot of people getting traded. The league gonna look a lot different next season for a lot of different teams. So it's the best time of the year. It's March. March Madness. We got
Madness.
championship
All that.
coming
Yes,
up.
sir. Absolutely. You
You
already
know,
know.
that the championship tourneys, um, getting ready to jump off. Basketball all day coming up.
You already know.
March is a beautiful time. You get a little feel for like all four. All four of the major sports. Because you got hockey going, basketball going, and for the NBA, then you got college, baseball starting up. Then we get a little extra flow with the WBC this year, and then the NFL never want to be left behind
Right.
because they
Right.
didn't drop their
Right.
free agency, and free agency frenzy is crazy. And then you got the combine, wrapping up, and then next thing you know, we were talking about the draft. So like the NFL never stops.
Draft is
Year long.
April 23rd.
Yeah. Be here
Right.
before we know it.
Browski brought up some hockey. The trade deadline, the NHL trade deadline is Friday at 3 o'clock. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, we talk about that over here too. Browski don't admit it. I seen her hanging out with Gritty, but it's all good. But listen, um, let's start with the World Baseball Classic, man. Teams are getting ready, like Browski mentioned. United States, I watched them a little bit earlier today against the San Francisco Giants. They played like little inter-squad games, and it's funny to see a guy like maybe a Logan Webb who plays for the United States is playing against his team,
Yeah.
the San Francisco Giants. That's the bugged out part about the World Baseball Classic because again you had the teams that were leaving for their destinations for the World Baseball Classic. For example, the Yankees. You got Austin Wells play for the Dominican team. You got Aaron Judge he plays for the United States. You got Jazz Chisholm he plays for Great Britain. So I
Yeah.
mean, again everybody's broken up. But we talked about this last week, I think, Kimmy.
Hmm.
They don't care about the Steinbrenners or who owns the
I,
team. They don't care about that. That this World Baseball Classic. The only thing they care about is playing for their country, and I'm not mad at
mm,
that. We talk behind the scenes about the pool. United States pool is with Brazil, Great Britain, Italy, Morocco. So I mean Mexico. Excuse me, Mexico. So
okay.
again, not as easy as it sounds, right?
Yeah.
Mexico probably got a decent team.
Yeah.
Again, the last baseball classic, I think the Mexican team did really well.
They did.
Again, Japan had just beat them because somebody had a walk-off double or something like that.
Hmm.
This United States team is superstar loaded. Browski mentioned it behind the scenes when we talk. Aaron Judge, Paul Skeens, Tariq Skubal, Browski's own Bryce Harper, Cal Riley, Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, and a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, we dig down and we talked about the other rosters on the other World Baseball Classics, and we looking at it, we're like, uh oh. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
It's a lot of uh-ohs.
Right. Again, you got a lot of teams, even in the pool that the Yankees, the United States are in. They got to go against guys like Jaron Duran, Alejandro Kirk, Andres Munoz. Italy's got the kid Pasquantino from the Royals. You know what I mean?
Aaron Nola pitching for
Yeah,
the Italian
Vino.
team.
Right. You know what I mean? And so yeah, and we mentioned Jazz Chisholm is the guy in Great Britain.
Yeah.
Um, Brazil. I mean, but I mean Dante Bichette Jr., Lucas Ramirez, Manny Ramirez's son. You know what I mean? And you're going to see a lot of guys that you never heard of, but have very, very strong connections to baseball in general. I'm not just going to say Major League Baseball, right?
Hmm.
Because it's not about just Major League Baseball. This World Baseball Classic is about the whole entire baseball universe. Again, what do you see, Browski, in like maybe even the pool B that the United States are in, or in another pool like maybe a pool like pool A? Look at Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico.
Yeah. That.
That's why I
Um.
said it like that. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Like the
Oh,
pool is crazy. Oh man, like our pool, like I said, I feel like we should come out of it.
hmm
Um, I mean Mexico, Brazil. I think Mexico really gonna be our biggest competition in the
right.
pool.
hmm
Um, Pool D is a little crazy because you got
Is a beast. Puerto
Venezuela.
Rico is a beast.
No, Pool D, you got Venezuela, the Netherlands, Dominican Republic, Israel, and
Netherlands, Nicaragua, and Venezuela.
Nicaragua. Yeah, that's a crazy pool. Um,
But you mentioned it though. You mentioned it. What team is that with the Vladdies and the Sotos and the Julio,
Dominican Republic. That's
the
yeah,
Tatis, the
like you got
Machado?
Juan Soto. Then you turn around, you got Vlad hitting after him. Then you got Manny, and then you got Junior Cabrera, and then you turn around. It's
And the pitching. Mention two of the pitchers. One of them's your guy.
oh well no, he's not even there.
No,
Um, who? Who?
Christopher
Alvarado?
Sanchez. No,
Oh,
Christopher.
Christopher San. Oh, yes, yeah, Christopher Sanchez, who is most likely going to be our projected number one starter, is
Mm-hmm.
pitching for the DR team. And like when I seen him pitch the other day in his only appearance during the spring training, this man got a crazy changeup that's out of his mind. So going against that, plus they're hitting, I feel like you know that's a pretty complete team, just like the Japan team that we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about, because they got a lot. They got Shohei. Okay, just you say one way, they got Shohei. That's all you need to know. But then you turn on the pitching side, you also got Shohei pitching, and you got Yamamoto also pitching. He was basically the MVP for the World Series. Out
Mm-hmm.
there, and then you got the other guy that played for Chicago, the picture from there. Like
Uh,
it's yeah, yeah. So the Japan team is a crazy team to go against. So I feel like once you get out this pool play, it's going to be bananas.
that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to get real. I
Yeah,
mean,
and we can't even guarantee that we're gonna come out the pool
true
because
that. True that.
who knows?
When you talk about the pool, what was it, Pool D, I think, with the Dominican team. You
Yeah.
mentioned the Dominican, they have Christopher Sanchez and they got Sandy Alcantara
Oh
from
yes,
Orleans.
yes,
But Venezuela, look at their team.
yeah,
Ronald Jr., Jackson Cherio, Salvador Perez, Louis Rise, Eugenio Suarez, Gleyber Torres. Like,
yeah. That's
but
what I'm
then
saying. Like that, that's crazy.
you got the Netherlands, a team that you
Yep.
wouldn't think with Xander Bogaerts, Ozzy Albies, Kenley Jansen, and I don't know if we're gonna have Jurison Profar, but
Probably
you
not.
know, Israel, even Israel,
Yeah,
what
Israel got a squad.
Israel? Had a squad: Harrison Bader, Tommy Conley, Spencer Horwitz,
Yep.
even Nicaragua has Mark Vientos.
Yes,
So
they got
everybody
squads.
gets uh-huh. Everybody getting some burns. So again, we here to talk about it because it's going down. But like Browski said, the first week of the pool play is going to be like interesting to watch. It's going to be good to see some early baseball, which means something.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of sort of like see now here's where Browski going to get at me, right? I'm firm but fair. I will scream at Browski all day long about the NBA Cup. We don't need the NBA Cup. Nobody cares about the NBA Cup. We're not hanging no stupid banner in the Madison Square Garden. None of that. But the World Baseball Classic, same kind of thing. World Baseball Classic is at the beginning of the season. World Baseball Classic is every couple of years. That's why I could tolerate it a little bit more, Kimmy. I would
Every four
state
years.
okay, NBA Cup, you can have that. Get the hell out of here with that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's just how I feel about it. But again, I love baseball.
yeah.
So again,
But this doesn't mess up the schedule. See, that's what difference between the NBA Cup and the WBC. Like you said, it comes once every 4 years and is always before the season. It doesn't interfere with the scheduling. The NBA Cup interfered with the scheduling because you have these pool plays. So now we're playing, for example, the freaking Atlanta Hawks a million times. Nobody want to go see the Sixers play the Atlanta Hawks, or
right,
we playing the Charlotte Hornets 10 times in 3 weeks. Nobody wants to go to those games. So what are we talking about? So
right.
that's right there. I think is where we differ. I'm upset, because baseball was taken out of the Olympics, but I do appreciate the WBC. It made me appreciate that a little more. It gives me, World Cup vibes, 'cause World Cup every 4 years. Um, and before they took baseball out of the Olympics, I'm like, it's wild that they did that, but they incorporate flag football and breakdancing, but baseball
Browski type breakdancing.
isn't Olympic sport, it's wild to me. We'll
Browski,
sit here and we'll
Browski
watch
did that
people.
with a snarl and
We sit here
breakdancing.
and watch people quote unquote breakdance. They're going to call it
Right.
breakdance. But to watch players have the opportunity to play for their country on the Olympic platform is wild. That can't happen. All right, cool. Why? Because it's in the summertime and baseball's in the summertime. It's happened every 4 years. You could take a break, just like soccer takes a break, and the NBA take a break.
Do it in July, right? That's when the Olympics are. That'll
Yeah,
be
do
all
it in
right,
July,
right?
and right there. Well, we don't have an All Star game this year because
Yep.
guess what? We're playing in the Olympics. We can sacrifice 1 year without an All Star game every 4 years, but I digress. It's okay. I got the WBC. I'm cool with that.
Cool
So
with that.
I'm excited because to me, the WBC being the beginning of the season, I look at that as advantage for our guys who go through cold spells. You know, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. Sometimes in the middle of the season, beginning of the season, they might be on a little cold streak. Now you in the WBC and you're playing against pitching and games that matter. It would you could build that momentum up there and bring it into the season and just be in mid-season form at the beginning of the season. Start out hot. Um, and like we said, it's meaningful baseball. Spring training can sometimes drag out because where you don't really see the stars play that long. They may get 1 or 2 innings just to work out some things, and then you see a bunch of guys that may or may not make the team, or you probably won't ever hear from again because they're in double or triple A. So here we get the ultimate fantasy squad because who don't want to see a lineup where you have Aaron Judge and Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper and Brian Bronson and Kyle Riley and all these guys just there and who don't want to see Logan Webb, Struble, Schemes, like this is a crazy starting pitching rotation. If this was on a team, it would be unfair. Like this team wouldn't be able to exist anywhere but here in the WBC. So yeah, take advantage and watch these
That's the kind of
games.
team that's the kind of team that you put on the Simpsons.
That's the time. That's the type of team that we got vetoed by David Stern. Oh, you can't do that trade.
Right. That's right. That's right. Um, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We talked about the baseball, so that let you know right there that we on it. And again, salute. The NHL trade deadline is Friday at 3 o'clock. I just hope the Rangers, man, they just getting rid of everybody. They're gonna probably get rid of JT Miller. They're gonna probably get rid of Panarin, right? They get rid of Zibanejad. It's gonna be over with. Henrik Lundqvist is they need a new goaltender. They need a young goaltender. We got Henrik Lundqvist and Jonathan Quick. Like, come on, man. But anyway, um, let's get to Browski's second favorite part of the show, the NBA chop up. Um, I watched my New York Knicks play the San Antonio Spurs, and Victor Wembanyama and Stephen Castle and the homie from the Brooklyn Step Up League, Julian Campagni. The Spurs are nothing to be trifled with. They just come into the Garden, and all of a sudden now, once again, the Spurs are a hot ticket when they come into the Garden, right?
Yeah, they
I
here
think
now.
right, and I think that the Knicks they get up for that. They definitely didn't want to look bad in front of a national TV audience. And
Hmm.
why'd you let me forget, Browski, that the NBA or NBC game is on?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to
Uh,
see the beginning. Okay, they got the graphics and all that. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, my thing that kills me, and then I'm gonna pass the microphone over to Kimmy. Is how people are trying to really, really get at Mike Brown. Now, for me, I said it right, and Kimmy's my
yeah.
witness. I said I'm good with Mike Brown. Mike Brown is going to bring some accountability to the situation.
You did.
Mike Brown has the pedigree, right?
Hmm.
And Mike Brown is going to be a respected voice, and he's going to give some people more people a chance to play, right?
Yeah.
39-22. I'm not mad at that. 6-4 in the last 10. It's to be expected from this team. This team is not over the hump. And when I say over the hump, you're not talking about the Knicks in the light of, top two in the East. They still talking about like Jason Tatum is in the rearview mirror. He's coming, like he's the boogeyman.
They definitely are talking like he is a boogeyman.
Um, I'm not really understanding all of that. But I see where it's justified. where people talk about the Knicks, so you don't know what you're gonna get when it comes to the New York Knicks. Jalen Brunson's that guy, salute. You know what I mean? But is he that guy? Right? You got OG Anunoby. Is he that guy? They have their moments, right? In the game like they played on Sunday against San Antonio, you see when it all comes together, how nice it looks. All game long, even when they went through that little period, they came right back and they did what they had to do. Defensively, Carl Anthony Towns did what he was supposed to do. If he could do that or 4 times a week, he don't got to do it 7 days a week. If he can do it 4 times guaranteed a week, he will be talked about as one of the top centers in the league. Period. You ain't got to do it every day. Just do it on days when it's expected, my guy. That's all. And so, back to Mike Brown, I think that, it's getting out to the time now where, we don't have to worry about the regular season, right, Kimmy? It's about playoff positioning and the play-in and who's playing where and who's, you know what I mean? So everybody was like, oh, my God, there's no Halliburton in Indiana, right, Kim? There's no Tatum in Boston, right, Kim? There's, we don't know what we're getting out of Embiid in Philly, right? So, again, it was all set up for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
All set up. Right? And where you are right now is 7 games out of the top spot in the East, which is whatever. You put yourself there. But it's not like the Knicks are like 5th or 6th or 7th in the East. I'll take 3rd. Right? But show me what you're going to do in the playoffs. Because right now, if the Knicks was in the playoff series, they'd be playing who? The Sixers. And that would be a very, 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 very good series.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
And let me say this before I pass it to Browski to talk about her Sixers. VJ Edgecombe kicked the out of that lady. He didn't mean it. It just happened. Watching it live, like
It was wild.
it was crazy. Like Mike Tirico was like it's out there 2 feet away from me. I mean, it was crazy. But salute to that lady, whoever she is. She took it like a champion. VJ
Yeah.
Edgecombe. It was nothing he could do to avoid that. You know what I mean? And basically that. I just kind of looked at the next 3 to 5 minutes of the game where he kind of like his head was not there. I noticed
Yeah.
that. I picked up. You know what I mean? I just hope that he can move past it because
Move
it was an
on. Yeah.
accident,
Yeah. Yeah.
and leave it at that. So go ahead, Brosky. What's your thoughts on your Sixers and where we are right now in the NBA season?
Well, I mean, I say the same thing every week when we talk about the Sixers. This is a year of we don't know because we go as far as Embiid goes, and again, Embiid goes off the court. He's not on the court. He's always an injury, a nick, a string, or a feeling. So I mean, he's been out for the past couple of games. Um, If it's not load management, it's soreness somewhere in his body. We still waiting for Paul George to return from his rehab stint. Guys taking banned substances like they don't know they're going to get tested. 25 games. So we're waiting for him to come. He should be coming back, I think, by the end of this month. I
Mm-hmm.
believe he should be coming back. Hopefully he'll come back healthier, game shape, and ready to go to work. Because right now we sitting at 6th
So VJ
in the
Edgecombe is the
East.
truth.
Um, but we're 33-27, 6th spot. You know,
Mm-mm.
yeah, the kid
You got block. You
VJ
see that
is on
block?
fire.
You see that
Yeah,
block?
yeah, yeah. He plays. He plays like a vet. He plays like this is his third, fourth year in the league, not his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like that was a great draft pick for us,
Yeah,
and
bro,
hopefully
Jerry McClain. Jerry McClain wasn't bad either, but y'all got rid of him.
I mean, Jerry McClain wasn't bad, but there wasn't really no place for him here because VJ basically took his spot.
There you go.
Jerry,
I
he
wanted you to
got
say that.
hurt. He got hurt. When he came back, he lost confidence. A lot of people was like, "Oh well, I don't understand why we gave up on him." It wasn't that we gave up on him. It's just we got something better, and it wasn't a lot of clock for him. So why have him on the bench or have him on the roster when we can probably get well, we got a draft pick for him. We got a good little haul for him. We didn't have a first round draft pick this year, but now we do. And then we also got 2 seconds. So for a kid who was hurt, had ending surgery last season, and second year slump, start out real slow coming back, and we got a good little haul. So it is what it is. We're just riding it out, see how many games Joel can get us, see if we can maintain something in the playoffs. But to be honest, it's if Joel's not on the court, we're probably a first round exit. It don't even depend who we playing, um, because we'll be depleted. It's heavy Maxi, heavy VJ, not enough, to sustain in the East. Especially when you got teams like Detroit and a team like Boston that we thought would be weaker without their star player, and they're just maintaining like he's still out there. And then you got the Knicks, and then you got Cleveland, who just got James Harden on this squad. So it's going to be an interesting couple of months. We'll see. It's we're not looking for championships here this year with this team because we don't know what this team is. This team is still incomplete and is still being built. Um, I look forward to next year where after moves have been made and draft picks have been picked, that we can see a complete team here in Philadelphia. You know, Only thing I'm looking forward to is them just playing competitive basketball and not get blown out. That's it.
Or I'll ask you this: the Sixers strong enough to stay away from the play-in?
No,
Yeah, they're six. They're a game and a half in front of Orlando.
yeah, no, not without Joel or Paul George. Because we're not getting any help anywhere else. We're not getting we get inconsistent scoring off the bench. Heavy Maxi, heavy VJ, no real third contributor that was supposed to be Quentin Grimes or uh, um or Kelly Oubre, but it's just not happening. And we're a really poor defensively team also. We're terrible in defense. Our best defensive player is out on suspension because he felt like he could do what he want to do, not and don't have to pay the consequences. And now we are paying for his sins. That's how it always fall back on us. But uh, I
What's the
digress.
Western Conference? Are we going to put stock into the San Antonio Spurs, or what are we doing?
Um, I think we have to because their core, Castle, Wimby, is ridiculous. These guys are balling. And even when Wimby's not on the court, they still have a strong enough core to keep them afloat. Right now, they in second place, 43-17. OKC still in first place, 47-15. Then you got Houston, Minnesota, Denver, and the Lakers. The Lakers are interesting because I can see them imploding right before their very eyes. The other day, it was very apparent that Luca and JJ Redick are not on the same page. You know, um, they are arguing on the sideline. Luca's basically trying to get in his face. It's like no real respect, it seems, between the two of them. And I remember saying that when JJ got this job,
Mm-hmm.
I remember saying that I don't think he's going to be there for a long time. And it's showing right now that this might be his last year as the Lakers coach, especially when you don't get along with your star player. Because this is no longer LeBron's team, it's Luka's team now. LeBron is on his way out the door. This is Luka's team, and you don't get along with Luka, I feel like he's going to be out of here. So I think it might be a coaching change, no matter what the Lakers do this year.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that one, Browski.
I feel even they make the playoffs to go to the second round. It don't matter. They could probably
It's
even win the
a time.
championship. They could probably even win the championship, and he still will be leaving because I don't think Luca respect
Well,
him
I mean
whatsoever.
that there's precedent for that. NBA coaches win championships. They probably want them to win the championship just so they can fire them.
Yeah,
That's
I
how it goes.
mean
You
that's
win a
what they
title, you
do, right?
fire. Yeah. So
Yeah, it
I
works.
mean, you know, um, nobody. Well, people might have put a little bit of respect on the Spurs name, but 43-17 after 60 games, respect.
I
I
didn't
don't
see that.
know.
I didn't see that.
Ah. You know, like you said, they have a complete team. Is the NBA ready for the return of the San Antonio Spurs? Because when the Spurs are good, they're good for a long time.
Yeah,
And
and I think these Spurs gonna be good for a long time because they're young.
right. And again, they're going to continue to build. Again, we talked about, Wemby. What is his second year? He might need a veteran presence. Like you
Yeah,
said, that team is young. Young. So
yeah.
again, they're hungry, and again, their record notwithstanding, they're playing very ultra competitive basketball, and
Mhm.
it's not just throw it down in the Wembenyama or clear out and watch Wembenyama from the top of the key to see what he's going to do. They're playing basketball. You know what I mean? They're not. Everybody when Oklahoma City was what 20-0, and everybody thought, oh, they're going to
Mhm.
win 80 games. What happened to that? You know, I feel like Kevin Durant with the Houston Rockets. What happened to that? You know what I mean? I mean the Rockets are right there, but I mean what? You had a team. Ime Udoka's got a squad down there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I mean, like it's about the San Antonio Spurs, and even I think the Oklahoma City Thunder might be like, yo, the Spurs are stealing some of our shine.
Well, I mean,
The
when
Spurs,
OK, yeah,
the Spurs
when
was
OK,
busting their ass in the beginning of the season.
yeah, because when OKC was on a winning streak, the Spurs came in there and shut that down.
Yeah.
I believe they beat them by what 2 out of 3 times so far. Because
I
I
think
don't
it was
think
three out
the
of
fourth
four,
time yet.
and it wasn't close.
Yeah, so I feel like we definitely have to put some respect on the San Antonio Spurs um, team, and we gotta put some respect on these organizations that's basically they kind of take a baseball approach when building a roster. It's like a farm system, young. OKC, these young guys. They star players are all young. Looking at San Antonio, they star guys, young. Houston, they got young guys with a vet in KD. Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, young guy, leading the way. So I feel like those particular organizations are looking at the league and looking at, how other organizations have been successful by bringing in young talent and keeping them there to develop and grow and mature as a team and learn how to play together as a team. Because, the way OKC was playing last year was out of their mind. And guess what? They're still doing it this year, even with SGA being sidelined for a couple games here and there. Chet Holmgren being hurt, Jalen Williamson being hurt, you know, majority of the first half of the season, and they still sit in the top of the West. That has always been a gauntlet conference because teams like Denver, the Lakers, the Warriors, Phoenix, Clippers, but now those teams have faded away, and the young guys have emerged up top, of this conference. So it's just it's crazy when we're so used of saying, oh, the Lakers in the first place, or the Warriors in first place, or the Nuggets in first place, and we look and we like, oh, wait a minute, the Thunder in first place, San Antonio in second place, Houston's in third place. We not used to saying that. It's interesting, and I think it's bringing more life back into the league that younger faces are basically the face of the league now. The old guys are a foot out the door now.
And I'm gonna say this to add on to your point: the upheaval in the West is some things still remain the same. Like, look at the garbage teams in the West: Sacramento. You,
Utah,
Jazz. You know what I mean? So the more
New Orleans Pelicans, like yeah,
things, right, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Word up. That's the
right.
funny part. Word. What grade are you giving Adam Silver for this season in particular?
I gotta give him a C. You know, the cheating thing, that that right there put a big, big dim light on the league. Um, to me, the NBA Cup still like the scheduling. Like, all right, I'm okay with them having a tournament, but the scheduling is still is still messed up. They have to find a way to schedule these games properly, or how about this? We change up the teams in these pools because it seems like we always in the cup, like I said, the Sixers always playing Atlanta, Charlotte. Nobody wants to see those teams. Those teams suck. Washington. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to go to a Sixers and Charlotte game,
Three times a week.
and then a day later, now we playing at Charlotte,
Right.
and then the next day we're playing at home, and guess what? We're playing
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Let me
So
guess.
yeah, so I think maybe rotating the teams like in the East to play each other in the pools. Maybe have it like a ping pong. It's like, oh, look who's in this pool this year. It should be interesting. That would kind of help. But I gotta give them a C. Um, the refs are still a problem. Um, the calls, yeah, I give them a C so far. What you give them?
Um, I'm going to give him a C minus
Okay.
because I'm with everything that you said. Everything. Why is there not a team in Seattle yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you get points taken away, Adam Silver. You get points taken away for trying to jazz up the All Star game again. But I wasn't mad at it.
Almost. Almost gave us what we wanted. Almost. It was right there. It was like, all right, do it. USA versus the world. Two teams. Go at it. Not
But no.
no,
Right, right,
no.
right. Let's go, Bowski.
Almost had us.
Yeah, I mean, but no, try. And listen, again, we all realize that you're going to do what you do. You're going to do it in our face. No matter how much we don't like it, how much we complain, or whatever the case may be, we're still going to watch the game like I'm watching the game right now.
Yeah.
But again, the game that I grew up with, the game that Browski grew up with. It's not the game of today.
Mm-mm.
But it's cool. We cool with it because again, it still gives us something to talk about, and we enjoy watching the game and things of that nature. But now, like we said, Browski, it's March, right? It's getting down to the nitty gritty playoff positioning. It gets interesting. We'll see how these trades worked out. You know what I mean? Like we talked about James Harden, his thumb is messed up, so his situation in Cleveland or whatever the case may
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
But we'll see. Let's switch it over to the NCAA because I want to ask Browski, how the hell did the USC basketball team have a dude on there that's 32 years old?
With like four kids, right? They
And you
knew
see,
this guy. They knew it. They knew it. They knew it? They knew it was about to get out, so they had to get ahead of their curve and be like, oh my, and play victim. Oh my God, this guy falsified all these documents.
he got how many kids? Right.
How
Not that there's
how
nothing
old is
wrong with
he? He's 34.
it.
He's from the DR. Why
Mm.
else gotta be from the DR? Look, they say, hey, they did it in baseball. Why can't we do it in basketball? Let's see. Let's see how it works for us. And it worked too well because what he was the second leading scorer.
Yeah, he was killing it.
He was
Yeah, he
killing it.
was.
He
Listen,
just had he just had a game the other day. It was like, oh wow, this guy is
hey,
sick.
when he went in the locker room, and then he came
Yeah,
back out the locker room and sat in the stands with the people.
yeah, yeah. I was like, what happened?
Listen, man, college basketball is become a cannibal of its, and when
Wow.
I a cannibal, it's eating itself alive. Um,
Hmm.
for all the good that is done now, it's the right time of the year now. March couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah,
Like literally, March could not have come in a better time. These conference tournaments, we've been talking about this since when, Browski? Since November, December. We
yeah,
couldn't
man.
conference tournaments, right? So
Yep.
conference tournaments start. I think some of them start today.
Some
So
yeah, we got some
right,
from the SEC Jones. We got Alabama, Georgia playing,
yeah.
Clemson, North
See, so
Carolina.
absolutely. So we in the building. So it's about to get really really crazy, and
About
the
to get
college
crazy.
basketball talk is going to get deep. Um, where are we at with Arizonas of the world and the Dukes of the world? You watch these teams and you feel like, okay, I could kind of like follow this team and I know what they're gonna do and know how they're gonna play. Like for example, Duke. Then they go down and play against North Carolina, and North Carolina beats them. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Again, I feel like a team like Arizona, regular season they're gonna do that 28, 29 wins. All right, and they get bumped off by a 11 seed in the tournament. Like,
That's the tournament for you. Like that's why I feel like these conference championships are extremely important. Um, to me more in basketball than it is in football because it's all about your positioning in the NCAA tournament. You know, I feel like number one seeds does matter in basketball more than it does in football because you get a number one, you playing the 16 seed, so you already know that all right, this game, this should be a cakewalk. This should be a cakewalk. But you drop down to that number six, and then you playing the 11 that's probably should have been a three, but they made a stumble in a conference tournament and lost in the second round. Now they dropped to a 11 seed, and here you may have won your conference tournament, but unfortunately you play in a lower, you play in like the Big 12 or something like that, and you fall to a six seed. and now you're playing this 11 seed, and you get stumped out by this 11 seed because the 11 seed is really a 3 seed. So seeding is definitely very important in here. And like I said, these conference tournaments is going to be it's going to be really good because a lot of these teams have already played each other plenty of times, and there's always history because we know that we expect to see Duke versus North Carolina in the ACC championship. Like we expect to see that, we already seen them play twice, already. So we expecting to see that. We expect to see Michigan, in the Big
Mm.
Ten championship, but you know we, it's I don't know.
These things happen.
Things definitely happen. Um, Nothing. Um, Everything unexpected is going to happen, and I already know that this man over here already have a team
Oh
greater
yeah,
than his bracket in pin
right. That's
in
right.
the final four
Uh,
already.
listen, um, I feel like I watched Gonzaga lose the other night, but I still listen, Bowski. I
Still
got
got him written in pin.
yes, I got faith in Gonzaga. I'm going to be sitting there. Not this Sunday coming up. Next Sunday, the 15th.
Uh
I'm going
huh.
to be sitting there waiting for the other 67 teams to be announced because I already know. I already know Gonzaga is going to be in the tournament. I just, people get on me about that. Oh yeah, Gonzaga. I f's with Gonzaga, heavy. Like way back, Browski. I think I spoke to the history before. Back to Adam Morrison days,
Uh huh.
right?
With that weird mustache.
Oh man. But again, it's just something about Gonzaga. One of these days, Browski.
One of these days, Alice. One of these days.
They're gonna break through. But yeah, it's gonna be very, very, very interesting in these conference tournaments. I think Browski. And when you talk about the comparison between football and basketball, I mean, the number one seeds in football, we don't have a bye, and that's proven up sometimes not to be a good thing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And again, the number one seed playing a 16. You're from a top conference, call it a Big Ten or call it the ACC or whatever. You're playing a team from the MAC, from the WAC. You
Whack.
know what I mean? From one of these small conferences, the
Sun,
MEAC or
Sun
whatever. It is,
Belt.
that's hungry, right? Absolutely, that's hungry. And you
Yeah.
haven't seen that brand of basketball. And we talked about this before. You get a team that's
Ivy
running.
League.
You get a team, yeah. You get a team that's running good and run up and down the court. They play a team in the Ivy League that slows the game down.
Yeah. Pin. Yeah.
Now you lost. Now you don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, here you go. You're speeding the game up. They're slowing the game down. You're down by 8 with 2 minutes to go. Who's nervous? You or them?
Okay. You all day.
Right. You know what I mean? You are number one seed, 35-point favorite.
Exactly.
I'm
Down by
saying,
8 with 2 minutes left. Like, what's
absolute.
happening?
Now you're down by 8 with 2 minutes left. So again, it comes down to yeah, what's the words I'm looking for, Browski? Intestinal fortitude. That it comes down to who got the cojones and who
You
don't.
got it.
I mean, you could talk about a team I just pick out the air like a St. John's that comes into the tournament. A Rick Pitino, you know what I mean? You talk about a team like what else? What other team can we talk about, Broski? A team like a
You
Duke.
Duke. You could talk
You know what I
about a team
mean?
like
You can talk about a
Auburn,
team like Iowa State, Arizona.
Baylor.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So again, it's anybody's ball game. So what is all going to boil down to, Kimmy, is these conference tournaments, like you said. A lot of these teams, or a couple of these teams, are going to get bumped off. They're going to bump down from maybe a 1 or 2 line to maybe a 4 or 5 line. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So again, and then you got the lesser teams that say, "Hey, we can win our conference tournament. I don't care if we get in as a 15 seed." I don't care.
Exactly. As long as
You know
I'm
what
in
I
there.
mean? Yep, I'm in there like swimwear. You heard? So
Hmm.
again, that's what it's all about. And Browski, let's give some time to women's basketball a little bit. Talk about the unrivaled, and give you some space to breathe when you talk about the women's side of the brackets and all that stuff and unrivaled.
Well, Unrivaled is going through. They just had their two semifinal games over the weekend. Championship is coming up soon. Um, Let me see who was. I watched it. What did I watch? Oh, Breeze and the Vinyl. Going to the semifinals. The Phantoms are also going. I can't think of the. I just watched it too. Phantoms, Breeze, Vinyls, and one more team. I can't. It escapes me the other team. The the Miss, I think. I can't think of the other team name, but yeah, the championships is coming up. It sucks that the league is about to be over soon because we don't know if WNBA gonna start on time. Um, WNBA still in a contract negotiations. Um, things is still up in the air for them. They don't know if they're going to start on time. That's why we really have to key in on women's college basketball because that's what's keeping us afloat right now. And again, we're talking about these rankings and with the season ending with UConn going undefeated, 31-0. Crazy work. Um, a lot of people thought they may have took a step back because they star player Paige Beckers had moved on to the WNBA. But Sarah Strong and Ozzy Flood definitely stepped up and put the team on their back and carried to an undefeated, season. Right behind them, UCLA, 28-1,
Hmm.
crazy.
Hmm.
Lauren Beck's out there doing big numbers out there. Um, UCLA was sneaky good, quiet good too, because it was so much of the highlight being on UConn, South Carolina, Texas, with Madison Booker. She's a bucket. Um, LSU, with the addition of Malaysia Fuwali in the backcourt, with um, um, I can't think of her name, Fly J Johnson. So that UCLA team just basically just like floated underneath the radar, and we looked up and like, whoa, 28-1. This is a team that a lot of teams should be afraid of in coming into the NCAA tournament. Um, the women's conference tournament should always be is always going to be amazing, especially the SEC because the SEC gets down and dirty.
Real
South
for real.
Carolina,
They got
Texas,
the mamas coming out the world.
LSU. Yeah, exactly. Like Duke, like it gets real busy. Um, when it comes to the women's side and the SEC. And what's so crazy about that, again, it's a direct reflection of what happened in college football with the realignment of the conferences. Now, when we look here on basketball, especially on the women's side, it's like, oh, South Carolina, Texas, LSU, you know, we look at UCLA, Ohio State, Oregon. Like it's a lot of mix and match now that we're going to see a lot being reflected in this conference tournament. So the women's conference tournament is going to be just as spicy as the men's. It's going to be wild. You may see some upsets. You might see some teams that you expect to breeze through, and next thing you know, they down by 8, two
With two
minutes
minutes left.
left. The game has slowed all the way down, and now they looking and trying to
Yeah,
figure
right,
out
right, right,
how are we going to pull out
right,
this victory,
right.
because guess what? We lose this game, we lose that 1 or 2 seed. Now we a sixth, seventh, or an eighth seed looking to play a 15, looking to play a 12 seed, somebody like that, So
A 12
it's
seed that's really a three.
exactly. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting, and I can't wait. All day basketball. Who doesn't
That's
like
what it
that?
is. And just in time for Browski's favorite part of the show, where we get down on it. What we getting down on tonight, Browski? We got like 5 minutes. What we getting down on?
Well, we're gonna get down what we were talking about behind the scenes. Baseball coming up, and now the story starts popping out.
Uh-oh.
Pro Fair,
Mm-hmm.
166 games. You might as well say the whole season.
Yep, the whole season.
Yeah, suspended once again for PEDs. He was just suspended last season, 80 games for the same thing. Then he had the nerve to say, you know what, I'm going to fight this. This is unfair. I'm going to appeal it. Bro, you put yourself in this situation. Not only him, I have a guy on my own team, Johan Rojas, who is fighting for a spot in center field. Excellent on defense, terrible on offense. But we still give him a shot. He's supposed to be playing with the DR team right now. They said, wait a minute. Something came up in your urine sample. This doesn't seem right. He's like K, K,
Okay.
K,
Mr. Rojas, Mr.
K.
Rojas, you report to the office, please, Mr.
No
Rojas.
hablo inglés, K.
He trying
So
to be on some,
now,
he trying to be on some Sammy Sosa.
yeah. So now he's possible want to have a possible suspension of 80 games at the half the season. And these guys always look so surprised and shocked when they get caught. Why are you so? The season is about to start. You are in spring training. You actually said, "Hey, I want to go play for my country. I want to play, in the WBC." You don't think the international committee is not going to test each and every one of you guys? And here you go, popping up right on the radar, per usual, because they said, "Oh, we're going to get at least one of these guys." And here you go,
That's all they need. Mm-hmm.
looking surprised,
Like looking
and
surprised, like Joan on girlfriends.
yeah, and
I'm
one
sorry.
thing
I'm sorry.
I will say too, looking ahead to this potential baseball lockout and these new collective bargaining and salary cap stuff like that, I feel like I gotta take the side of the owners on this. Where now, when we talk about contracts, I need to put something in the contract that say if you get busted for PEDs, you are going to forfeit majority of that contract
I'm with that. I'm with
because
that.
you are putting my team in jeopardy. I brought you here to win. We paid got 3 years, like 40 something million coming from the Padres to the Braves. You missed 80 games last season, bro. We needed you. The Braves needed him last season. All the injuries that they had, they said, you know what? We got him out in center field. He's good at the plate. We may be okay, to fight for a wild card spot. And he said, "Oh no, I'm gonna take these bands up. I'm gonna take these. I didn't know what I'm taking. I'm just gonna take them." Someone handed me a bottle and said, "Hey, drink this." It tasted funny, but I say I trusted him. And now I'm suspended for 80 games. I'm shocked.
We got 20 seconds left. Down in sports. Myself, left-handed at RM Desk on Twitter, which is this right now. Broski, aka Yada Bears, right over there. Y'all make sure y'all check us out next week. Week after next, Selection Sunday, doing all that good stuff. We're gonna talk real fast. Daylight Day, all of that good stuff. Make sure Broski don't go nowhere. We in the building, down in sports. We out.
Good to see you.
We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.